Good morning from the Water Utilization Learning Center. My name is Brian Olson, and wanted to talk to you about some opportunities we have for corn in 2021. And so, as we look at the drought monitoring map back in February of this year, you can see a lot of abnormally dry to extremely dry conditions out in this far western Kansas, southwest Nebraska, eastern Colorado region. And so there was not a lot of optimism for dryland corn in this region back at that time. Now we compare that now to May 25th, and you will notice that almost all of the region is white, with a few areas being abnormally dry, but all of the moderate, severe to extreme drought conditions are gone in this region. So needless to say, there's a lot more optimism to getting some good dryland corn production in these areas. And so farmers are taking advantage of that, putting corn out on those fields that they may not have been considering that back in February. And we take into account prices. Obviously, right now we're seeing pretty high prices compared to what we've seen the last 4 or 5 years. In fact, we have to go all the way back to 2013 in order to see the price per bushel that we're currently seeing now. So when we've got $6.50 per bushel corn, and we're looking at these dryland acres out in that far western corn belt region, 60, 80, 90 bushel corn at $6, $7 per bushel. Obviously, there's some real good opportunity to recoup some investment as farmers looking at increasing their management of those acres. And so we actually went through in 2019 and did a study where we were looking at, okay, if conditions are really good, how do we increase that yield potential on those acres? And so I wanted to revisit this research. And so some of the stuff that we looked at was an additional application of nitrogen at the V8 stage. And you can see here from our results, we saw an increase of 11 bushels per acre. So that's a nice bump, adding in an additional 60 pounds of nitrogen on those fields. I'm sure many farmers went out there with a base rate of nitrogen, and now you can go back and evaluate the weather conditions in those particular fields and decide, do I need to put out an additional nitrogen to take advantage of the weather conditions? In addition, we also looked at an application of Delaro 325C at the R1 stage. So putting out 8 fluid ounces per acre, we saw an 8 bushel increase on those plots where we added in that additional Delaro 325SC. And so again, that's a nice bump in increase in yield by putting out that fungicide application. And that is something that, again, if weather conditions don't tend to continue, the farmers don't have to put out that application, but if conditions look good at that R1 stage, that Delaro 325SC would be a good option for farmers to consider when they're looking at increasing yield potential on those dryland corn acres. So with that, we thank you for your time and look forward to having you out at the Learning Center in the future. We look forward to get back into normal operations this year with having farmer tours out at the site. But needless to say, exciting times out there with some really good moisture, really good prices, and we look forward to obviously a great harvest as we continue on through the growing season. So with that, we'll talk to you in the future about other agronomic topics from the Learning Center. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video from the Gothenburg Water Utilization Learning Center. For more information, please call 308-537-4500.